Okay, today we're going to be talking about the calcium in bones, and we're going to look at the different things that affects calcium. First, we might want to look and think about what is calcium in the first place. Any guesses? Calcium? How do you find calcium?
In the bones?
In your bones.
In your bone made out of cartilage.
Cartilage is on the end of the bones, and when we pass the chicken bones around, you can see the cartilage on the ends of the bones. Speaking about why might, we're going to all be putting gloves on here in a minute to be able to touch a chicken bone, but why might, you can see cartilage very clearly on this one, why you have bones put together, bone to bone. Why do you think each bone ends with cartilage instead of just ending with bone, Chandler?
To make your bones bend more smoothly.
Okay, more smoothly.
Not like if we didn't have cartilage, we wouldn't be able to like move it so well, right?
Yeah, so easily. Okay, it might be painful if
Yeah.
the ends of the bones were grating together. Yes,
It's like if that cartilage wasn't there, it wouldn't be protecting. Like
Yeah. protection. And you'll hear a lot of older people complain about joints hurting when the cartilage is worn away. That's one thing that can cause a lot of pain as people get older. The cartilage wears out. Yes.
My mom, she told us that if we played a lot of athletics from running, that our cartilage in our knees would like kind of be leaving because
Deteriorate.
whenever
Yeah, because you're like moving a lot,
You're
so
using
you're
it a
wearing it
lot.
away.
Yeah. Yeah, you can wear it away. You can wear it away. in
I think that's why
sports.
so many athletes have like knee braces on and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
for a
And
variety of
knee
reasons,
braces.
torn ligaments and all kinds of things. Okay, so calcium is in bones. What else in your body has calcium
Could it,
Oh, dang.
besides bones?
maybe like your brain maybe?
Isn't it like your teeth?
Teeth, good. Teeth, okay. Anything similar you see between bones and teeth?
They're
They're both
Like,
hard.
when when you like decompose, your teeth are still there with your bones.
Okay, they stay longer when your flesh decomposes. They're both white. Okay, what color would you guess calcium is in
White.
nature?
Pink.
You guess white. Chalk is also a form of calcium. It's got other compounds in it, but it's calcium as well. So you're going to be surprised when I show you the crazy scientist here
Green.
giving you some examples of calcium. It's actually silver, and it's actually a metal. In nature, calcium, number 20, you're going to learn this in your chemistry class in high school, is actually silver, and it's only when it combines with other things in your body that it's white. Well, we're going to test some different substances on these chicken bones and see what it does to the calcium that's making up the hard part of the bone. The calcium is the metal, a soft metal, that's helping make up that hard part of your bone. So this is a little 3-minute YouTube. If I can have somebody get the light over there. 3-minute YouTube. In which some British scientists are going to explain to you what calcium is.
So I always think of calcium as a slightly British element because the White Cliffs of Dover are made from calcium carbonate chalk.
Calcium is one of the group 2 or alkaline earth elements. It's got an atomic number of 20.
So calcium itself is a metal, but people most commonly see it as compounds.
It's a relatively soft, sort of silvery metal, which I can actually show you. This is quite an old sample of calcium. Okay, so it's a bit tarnished. Calcium is very, very reactive. So it quickly forms a layer, so you can see it's kind of shiny by there. It quickly forms a layer of sort of oxides and nitrides in the air, which is what this calcium has done here.
So many of you will have come across calcium sulfate, which is used as chalk in school. Nowadays people use dry markers and things, but we sometimes use chalk on blackboards.
The phrase "in the limelight," which I'm sure you've heard of, being in television, the phrase "in the limelight" actually comes from the fact that they used to use calcium oxide and they used to aim a very hot flame at it and make it kind of sort of be incandescent. And that's how the theatres and sort of music halls used to be lit. So when you're in the limelight, you literally were in the light of lime. Funny enough, we use electricity now for lighting all these sorts of things, but the phrase still lasts, which is quite nice.
And the compound calcium and carbon, so-called calcium carbide, reacts with water to produce acetylene, a very reactive compound of carbon, which burns with a bright light. And in the early days of motoring and cycling, people used calcium carbide lights, in which they had some of this powdered calcium carbide at the bottom of the lamp, and water dripped slowly on it to produce a gas which burnt and gave a beam which was not nearly as bright as one of our current headlights, but was still bright enough to get around.
And actually sort of expanding the chemistry of this compound, this element, I think, which is slightly misunderstood and sometimes thought would be a bit boring, but it's not boring. I think it'll have a great chemistry and hopefully very useful. Well, as chemists, I think we like to see spectacular things. Some things do cool things. I mean, the transition metals change colour, which is all, we have all these nice colours of the transition metals. But the things that sort of in the main group, which I mean sort of the S blocks, the ones on the left, and the P block are the ones on the right, don't tend to form very coloured compounds. It's a particular thing to the transition metals most of the time. So they don't do much in the way of colour change. It's boring. Most calcium compounds are white. I mean, look at your bones and your teeth are white, aren't they, really? But still, we can do, interesting chemistry with them. Can we make calcium compounds that can be used as reaction catalysts, which would be great because calcium is cheap, pretty benign as well, so it would be an ideal catalyst compared to sort of a lot of the expensive transition metals.
Okay, there we go. So, she said calcium's very reactive, and so we're going to test some substances with calcium. Why might we want to learn how calcium reacts in bones? Why might we want to put the calcium in the water, in the coke? What could we learn from doing that?
What it does.
Yeah, if
How
calcium
the
is
calcium
affected,
reacts.
how it reacts, and how could we use what we learn in our lives, in our daily lives?
Have you ever had to destroy something and just use that?
Okay, if you wanted to destroy your calcium in your bones, you could maybe find out what would destroy it.
Like
Not-
to what if the monster or something were to do something to it, not to. Well, it could not be healthy for.
Yeah,
humans.
maybe to think about some things that you
Can't
put in
people
your
have,
body.
like, too much calcium?
Yes, we can have too much calcium.
So then if you have like too much, you can like use like one of those things. Like we may not want to use like the peroxide or whatever, but like the Monster, the Coke, and like get like.
To reduce your calcium
Yeah.
level? Okay, so we could just find out some different things about the calcium in our bones. Now, what I'm gonna do before we start, I'm gonna have different people come up here and put the bones in the water. But before we start, I'd like each of you to put on don't get up, let's just pass them around here.
So it's a bad thing to
Pass
have
this
too
over here.
much calcium?
It is, and it can make deposits in your body.
We only need one glove.
Kidney stones can be formed of
We
too
need one
much
glove.
calcium. One glove, that's all we have. So you can only touch the bone with one, but you're gonna have to fill out your chart that's on your lab in front of you. You're gonna have to fill that out with information about the hardness of the bone. Before we start and put these in the solution, you want to see how the bone feels before we even start. Then we're going to put it in the solutions and we're going to wait 10 minutes, feel the bone again, fill in the chart. You and your lab group, before we ever put the bones in the solution, you're going to be making predictions about what the solutions are going to do. Then we're going to wait till Friday and feel the bones one last time. Okay, so I'm starting some bones from this side. Just go ahead and pass them around. There. It won't take very long if I just. Is it on the gloves or the chicken?
What she said?
Now, I'll tell you what, these are super clean. I boiled
They're
them.
really cold.
They just came out of the fridge. I've been being very careful with the sanitation.
Are you
But
giving one to each lab group?
No, we're gonna do this as a class lab.
Do you
Okay,
think
everybody
like
should
to
feel
boil
one.
them?
No, not everybody gets one, just,
Do you think
share.
since you boiled them,
Once
it
you
would like
felt,
mess it up?
see if you can bend it, feel how hard it is.
How are we
maybe
supposed to
it
bend
back.
it? How are we supposed to bend it?
Taylor, put it like this and then put your thumb like in the middle and go like that and push.
Break
In
it.
other words, just see how hard it is, look at that cartilage, make sure everybody gets to feel one. Tony, did you get one?
You push toward me and I'll push. No,
That's the one
Okay, now, once everybody's felt, you didn't get a glove? Did anybody take 2 gloves?
You're building.
No, remember you got one?
I know, but I had enough for everyone plus 1.
Elvin didn't get one.
I know. Just take this one.
Miss Thomas, you've only got 17, remember?
Oh,
I think you might have needed
the
18.
dirty side's out.
Yeah, but Skylar's
I know.
There's 19 people.
It's okay.
Miss Thomas,
Whoa.
Okay. Once you've touched one, I need them back.
Uh-oh.
Is this Kelsey?
Don't take your glove off yet.
Mine fell off too. It went.
Don't
No,
take,
mine's like this.
don't take your
That's
glove
what
off yet. You're not done touching.
Wait, sure. Take it off.
Did you get to touch it? That's okay.
Y'all's cartilage.
This is our
I did it. Mine and Brennan's is
Ours
good.
came off.
Miss Thomas.
Yeah, it's just
I'm
cartilage.
concerned with the bones. Okay, did I get them all
Piece of
back?
cartilage fell on me.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
Now, the next thing we want to talk about before we immerse them in the solutions is our predictions. And if you will look, you're going to get together with your guys, if you'll get together with your group, and then on table 1, we decided to make, don't go yet, but on table 1, we decided to make 5 test solutions rather than 4. So underneath hydrogen peroxide, we decided on Monster. So everybody in the chart.
I
fill-
can't write my I'm right-handed.
You put it on like this.
I don't.
Why didn't you put it on
Did we get to drink it?
I put it on my left.
I put it on
Everybody gets a water bottle.
Okay, if you can't write at this time, then wait till after you take the glove off. That'll be okay. So you're gonna write down Monster, and you're going on the chart. On table 1, underneath hydrogen peroxide, there's a blank box. You're gonna write down Monster, and then right under that one, outside of the chart, because we decided to add an extra yesterday, let's put Coke, okay?
Where at? On the big one or on some small one?
On both of them. You're gonna end up putting it on both. Okay? Now, before we do anything with the liquids, I want you to get together with your lab group. Chandler, listening? I want you to get together with your lab group, and under the hypothesis, you're gonna write down what you think is gonna happen. We're not gonna look up anything. You might talk in your group about what these different substances are, water, vinegar. You know, think about if they're acidic. Calcium is basic, it's alkaline, it's opposite of acidic. So think about the hypothesis. What do you think is gonna happen? You're not gonna be penalized if you're wrong. Just put down what you think is gonna happen. Then we're gonna get back together, put the bones in for 10 minutes and try them and fill out the rest of our chart except for the part for Friday. So get with your lab group and talk, fill out that hypothesis.
Look how the water.
Jennifer.
The water, there's nothing.
Around it.
You know that.
Bacteria. You know when you get a cut,
I mean, you can join them.
Eroded battery. I know, but yeah, bone bacteria. So I mean, your whole body.
What about vinegar?
Yeah. That is clean.
Water.
So
Yeah.
Oh, you did Monster.
I don't really think the monster's gonna do anything. I'm not really
Pencil?
Does the light blank need to be?
Yes.
Are you left-handed?
Gotta look at what's in monster.
So why don't you put it on there?
What were you saying?
I think I would. I think
And the last person is
All of it.
I put what do you think is gonna fit?
The cocoa was on it, and then the vinegar was like, the wedges or the. Hey, the vinegar.
We need to do everything. We need to do
I think this one is short.
vinegar. Come on, I'm trying to help you.
Same thing on
Okay, so here's what we think. We think that Coke and Monster will look like kind of put, I know what vinegar is.
trying to make it black.
The vinegar.
They're almost like the same thing.
Oh, I really think the vinegar.
To me, that's just put maybe. But like some people that are good at that, really gonna make it.
Well, your hypothesis actually means
Now, no,
And that sugar
Coca-Cola probably will.
on the outside, this is gonna be erasable. She's just gonna put water, and then here is my cup of water. And you're gonna wanna pick a small chicken bone. If we pick a big one, it's gonna be sticking out of these beakers. I have already tried that. And there are some of these chicken bones that are so big, they hang out the top. Okay, so she's gonna pour the water in there and then put a chicken bone. Pick a small chicken bone. That's close. Is there one smaller than that? That would not hurt. Yeah, that's good. I may pour a little bit more water in there after class.
But
Okay,
now
that's good.
that-
If just the very knobby top is sticking out, that's okay. Okay, Braden, pick somebody.
Right.
I want to pick somebody that's not really in their head.
That person may not want to do it, right?
I know, I wanna do it, but.
Oh, what?
Okay, we have vinegar next, so pour a beaker full of vinegar, and on the outside, let's write vinegar. Thank you, Braden. Braden, you can sit there, because then everybody can see that. Close, V-I-N-E. Okay, now pour the vinegar in there. I noticed that a lot of you said vinegar was gonna break the bone down on your chart.
Nope.
Now after we see the results, we can also look up why some of these substances had the effect they did on the bones. Do you think we're gonna see any effect after 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not much.
On the Coca-Cola, probably.
Yeah.
Well, that
And the
one's,
Monster.
Coca-Cola will eat it away. Monster will probably build up with all the sugar on it.
No, actually the Monster is less sugar
okay,
than the
pick
Coke.
somebody.
That's
Yeah,
27
because
grams.
Coca-Cola's got stuff in it that eats it
Okay,
away.
next we have hydrogen peroxide.
Coca-Cola eats
On
acid.
the outside of one of these, just put H and then P-E-R. Hydrogen peroxide.
Are you raising your
I know.
So you're pouring something into a cup.
You can pour as full as you can, then we can use a bigger bone. Okay. Okay, pick somebody for, let's do Monster next.
Easton.
What?
Okay. One Monster next.
This is nice.
Yeah, that's good.
You used to have.
Why it's gonna pick us away.
Yeah, hopefully that's some more. I popped it just to make sure it wasn't gonna fizz everywhere. I didn't realize until I popped that Monster open that it was fizzy like a Coke.
Yeah.
I've just never had a Monster before. How many of you have had a Monster to drink. I'm just kidding.
Hang on.
Okay.
Like this.
How many of you it's your favorite drink?
Way too many.
Okay.
Kind of, but I never drink it. 'Cause I
Oh wait, what
Oh,
she
Slade, calm down, dude.
All right. now pick-
Wyatt.
It's like orange.
Y'all weren't being quiet. I told y'all couldn't be quiet.
Brother Wyatt, when
You
you
weren't
were
little.
Yeah, I was being quiet. That's why Easton probably
It's
didn't.
supposed to be
Smell that
orange.
Monster. That's gotta
no,
be-
but I can just felt sorry for you.
Should we drink it after?
No.
Just do the best you can.
But
Easton,
she's not allowed to get
was I
a
being
second
loud?
person.
Huh?
I feel sorry for
I told y'all.
Just go Coke.
Hey, I'm saving tutorials. Y'all be quiet, please.
Okay, now, what we're gonna do is to look at,
Chandler, give me my pencil.
we're gonna look at one of these questions while we're waiting for the 10 minutes to go by. We're gonna fill these right before you leave. We're gonna have enough time to pass these bones around. We're gonna start in 10 minutes, and I'll give us 7 minutes to pass the bones around. And you're gonna make sure that you can feel if it's as hard as it was 10 minutes ago. So we're timing it. You can watch your watches. I'm seeing 2:17, so 2:27. Stop. They'll actually give us, about 7 minutes. Everybody's gonna feel a bone, and then you're gonna write down on your chart 10 minutes. And we have to wait till Friday. I'll put them somewhere where the high schoolers won't disturb them, and we'll check them again on Friday. Okay? So let's. Yeah, we're gonna wait 10 minutes, and then we'll just run. Okay, 10 minutes have gone by, and the way I'm gonna do this is to go in the same order that they are on the chart. I'm assuming that you put Monster and then Coke. If you put them in a different spot on the chart, that's okay. We're gonna do them in the same order that people came up here. I'm gonna start over here with Wyatt. I'm gonna ask him, I'm gonna come over there. I'm gonna ask him to reach in and take the one with water. So water's the first one coming around. And he's going to feel it, see if there's any change. He's going to mark on his chart what he thinks, and he can pass it to Josue before he does that, but he's going to be getting the vinegar one next, and then the hydrogen peroxide, and I'll wait enough time before I start that, but because we are short on time, you don't want to keep each bone for a long time. Okay, so here's the water. You don't need to take the beaker, just the bone.
Oh.
Okay, so the water bone's the one that you're gonna feel first. Everybody's feeling the water bone first. Okay. I think I'll pass a paper towel with each one. It's not gonna be long, but it does. Pass that with it. Okay, the vinegar one is coming around next. After you've felt it, and you have some time to write down, like he's gonna be done with his 5 here in a minute. And he's gonna write down if he notices any change after 10 minutes. And while you're waiting, you can write down, did you notice any change in the chart? Okay? See
Yeah,
if you
because
notice
the
any
peroxide
change.
thing, the bacteria.
Vinegar, just feel it, see if you can bend it more easily than you could before.
See, clean bacteria.
Don't break the
So, if
over
you're, don't break it.
It looks plastic. See?
And this is the part, guys, can I hold this up? The part that you should be filling out, everybody's eyes up here, is this part of this chart. Observations after 10 minutes, that's the part you should be filling out. There you go.
It's more terrible stuff.
I did a lot of experiments in my
So the first one you're getting is water, the second one is vinegar, the next one's hydrogen peroxide. It's hydrogen peroxide.
Monty, is that water?
Yep.
It's not as dirty.
Figure my hand up, hold on.
Oh, there's a bunch of stuff up in this
The
one.
monster is bubbly madly.
Oh, wow, look at that one.
Oh,
that one's cool.
Wyatt, don't
It's
try
gonna
to
explode.
It's like, oh, jeez, this one's dripping more.
Lick it.
Is that the water? Hey, hold on.
Quiet!
Hold on.
Dude, you're on camera.
Nothing really happened.
I didn't know.
And the Coke one last.
Miss Tommy, this turning black.
You can put that on your observation chart.
That's
Yeah, you pass it, Josue. See if it's changed in its hardness.
We were right about that, it kind of
Can I read the back of the Coke real quick?
Yeah.
What makes that?
And the water one, yeah.
No, it's
Can I write this in there?
water right there.
Water, vinegar, right here.
Vinegar one.
Right here. That's the result of the vinegar.
Yeah, that's what pretty much
Hey, there's a piece right here.
When you,
Oh,
okay,
I went to
y'all,
see that
you're
movie.
almost done, so you can
What's
start
that?
writing.
What's that stuff?
Is that
Get that thing out of
that.
here.
It's a monster.
Somebody do some of that.
Oh my god, it's white.
No, do some. Hurry up.
This is the monster.
No, this is the monster.
No, this is the monster. Jennifer,
What is that? Number 3 is hydrogen peroxide. They're in the same order as your chart. Water, vinegar, hydrogen peroxide. Here comes monster.
Jesus, are you still on it?
I know,
Well, we're mostly going with feel. Is it any easier to bend? That's what we're looking at. Is it still as
Well, this looks like
it's easier?
No, it's harder.
It's harder.
Well, not harder, but it's like the same.
Can we take this off now?
And a lot of you predicted we wouldn't see
this one?
any change
Jennifer.
after 10 minutes.
here. Is this hydroxide?
It's the third one.
The third one is hydrogen peroxide.
Can I throw this away now?
That's vinegar. They're coming in the same order. Okay, that's probably good.
Where's your
Mauricio.
Sorry.